Hi everyone. Today we'll be talking about inflation, specifically inflation in Lebanon, which is one of the most discussed topics in the economy. To start with, inflation can be defined in terms of its causes. It's a continuous increase in the price of goods and services, leading an economy to reach instability. It's important to understand that a sudden increase in the prices is not considered as inflation, since it can be in a short term. It's only considered as inflation if there was a sustainable increase in price. Inflation in Lebanon is a crisis that affects everyone. It impacts the cost of living, making it harder for individuals to pay for their basic needs, such as rent, education, and food, including water. Also, it increases the unemployment rate and the price for starting a new business. Inflation affects everyone with a fixed income, because now you have to pay more for the same goods and services. However, in some cases, inflation can be really beneficial. For example, an individual may benefit from an asset inflation such as house or land if the individual owns an asset before the prices increase. Inflation affects everything differently. For example, electricity prices may increase while prices of cars may decrease. Inflation can also come in different forms. When people start expecting an inflation, they start spending more. That's because they know that the prices will increase later. This act of spending more causes the economy to undergo more inflation, which is called spiraling inflation. When inflation reaches its double figures, hyperinflation occurs. During this stage, water would cost a fortune to buy. However, this only occurs when the economy starts printing money without regards of inflation rates. Now let's talk about the retirement plan. Inflation is really bad for a retirement plan. Your target must keep increasing in order to provide the same life quality. That's because your saving will buy less as time progresses. What are the factors that cause inflation? First, continuous increase in the prices of goods and services. Increase of fuel prices, which pushed up the cost of transport and running generators. Also, an increase in education and medical costs. Second, and most important reason, is the Syrian crisis. It caused an increase in price in the border areas. The influx of the Syrian refugees has led to a 34% increase in the medicine prices and an increase of 12% in food prices. There are many solutions to overcome inflation in Lebanon. The government must increase salaries and decrease the price of living. Increasing either salaries or decreasing the price of living won't be beneficial, because both of these are directly related. An increase in one will increase the other. Another solution is to decrease the import of food and to increase the domestic production of food. In the past 6 years, food prices had increased by 66% and is expected to increase further. This increase is driven by the country's high food import rate, as Lebanon imports more than 80% of its food. The government should also promote bilateral and regional trade to improve competitiveness of the Lebanese agricultural sector. Finally, the government should reduce the number of refugees. According to a study, there are not enough food, electricity, or even school places for every newcomer.